La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
Get out the matrix and live.
You know what day it is? Inner Wealth Podcast. Meditate and give. So manifest the greater this. And things all good cause I say it is. Invest in your inner wealth. Real generational wealth is mental health. It's an inside game, no toxicity. Let's talk and more listening. Ladies and gentlemen, and now introducing David McCullar, founder of Inception, the first mental health gym.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La 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 la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
Get out the matrix and live.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Inner Wealth Podcast. I got a special guest in the building. Got Randi Rossario. What up, though?
Hey, what up? What up? What up? What up?
Yo, you know what? I got something special for you. How we gonna do this whole episode, right?
Yeah.
So Randi is you know what? I hate the little titles that we have to say because you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also an employee now too.
You're an employee, entrepreneur, employee. So before that was not really I would say that was a thing.
Yeah, I think it's always been a thing, but usually it's frowned upon.
That's what
Where
happened.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Like, y'all, guess what? I got some benefits.
Yeah, because being an entrepreneur out here, man, people don't
Listen.
know how the real is out here. That's funny you say that though. Growing up, my dad had a landscaping company, and we worked. I was out there probably since I was like 10 years old, and he worked at GM at the same time.
Mhm.
So he would come home from GM, and then get the trailer, hook it up, and we go out there and cut grass, and he would go back to work. And so that was just the thing. And then we got to this time period where entrepreneurship was like this, like that's all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have a job and be an entrepreneur. And now I'm like, man, my dad had mad hustles and
Yeah.
stuff and working a full-time job. So
Yeah.
is that kind of how you feel about it?
So initially I was a victim of the, you got to be an entrepreneur. You got to figure it out, get it out the mud.
Mm.
And recently, I think just from maturity and experience and just my own, just living life, I realized that, I look at entrepreneurship like the jungle. And when I had to become an entrepreneur, or when I chose to become an entrepreneur, I was like, oh, I'm a lion in the jungle now. I got to feed myself. I'm not a lion in the zoo no more. So I'm a big dog. I got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's also bringing out big trauma and big issues,
Yeah.
and big anxiety. So
And people mad at you because you're not doing the
What they-
things that they would do as
Yep.
an employee. Like you getting that straight paycheck every 2 weeks with me. I'm like, shoot, I may have a bad week that
Yeah.
can totally mess me up for
yeah,
2
I'm
months.
gonna eat noodles for about the rest of this quarter. I'm eating noodles. I'm gonna holler at y'all next
Right.
time. But I was just talking to one of my coworkers about that yesterday, about how my perspective on just that statement alone of being a lion in the jungle opposed to a lion in the zoo. I would say that in a way and like demean the lion in the zoo, like he still ain't had the teeth and the power that he have. Like he's just in the zoo. He's not choosing to be there, but that's just what it
Yeah.
is. And that's what I've always looked at employment as. But now as an mother of 3, wife, and entrepreneur with some seasoned under me, I'm like, yeah, I can do both. And there is a balance. Like
Yeah.
I know that I've developed this skill and this craft that I know, and I can apply it to this job now. So I still bring my value. I still can do my own thing, and yeah, it
I
works
just
out.
had this conversation with Dejanay, who you just met yesterday. I said, at what time did you realize that, because I worked at jobs, right? And then when you work at jobs, you just typically, you're going to go in and you're going to trade your time.
Yeah,
And you're just going to do what they say to do, right?
absolutely.
You're not really going in there with a real skill set that you feel is a skill set.
Unless it's unless you're a career person.
Unless you went to
Right.
school, you graduated, that type of thing. But
Right.
other than that, so I was trying to look and think back, when did I even get to the point where I'm like, you know what? I got a lot of value. I learned how to do this, and this. So what point in time did you start to see, like, I've gained a lot of skills being a lioness in the jungle that I can
Yeah.
go back to the
Yeah.
cage?
So I think I just started being opening my eyes to it probably this year. So I've always been like, I had people offer me jobs before. Like last year I was offered a position, a 6-figure paying position, and I was like, I'm not working for nobody. I'm a lion in the jungle. But, once I kind of made the adjustment in my thinking of, you're not weak because you work for somebody else. Because it's always like those memes you see where it's like, you can build your dream or somebody else can pay you to build theirs and stuff like that. It's like, no, I can do both. Like I can handle and I can do both. I think the big click for me was probably in the last couple of months where it's like, I know that I've done this for myself. I know I've, developed these certain skills and, honed in on certain crafts and whatnot. So I'm more comfortable with making those statements and asking and standing in that. Because before it was just on some cocky, well, no, I don't want to work for nobody type thing. I didn't care what you were talking about paying me for real.
Right.
But now I don't mind the working for somebody thing. And I'm comfortable in believing and saying I know the skills that I've developed are actually valuable for anybody's company.
Right. Yeah, because they are. Because we're in a new day and age too, where because again, you're really big on social. You understand that whole landscape. You have over like close to 300,000 followers.
Across all platforms, yeah, close to that. On Instagram, it's like 236. On TikTok, it's like 36. But beyond social, just like the marketing, the concept in front of the camera, behind the camera, like just the advertising and strategy, like that's really like my strong point in helping to actually build the business. Why I was actually put into the position that I'm in now. I'm the director of operations at a record label called Workshop, founded by Dan Gilbert and Che Pope.
Oh,
and
cool.
Basically, as a director of operations, like I'm pretty much hands-on in most aspects of the company and giving my input and helping out and basically everything I did for Oso Radio.
Right. Your own business. Now you can do it for somebody else.
Exactly. And I didn't get that. I wouldn't have gotten that experience working for somebody else for real. Like I had to get it out the mud figuring it out. I didn't go to school. I don't have a degree in media, journalism, mass communication, broadcasting, none of that. I don't have a degree in anything. The degree that I would have had I stayed in school for an additional year and a half, would have been healthcare administration.
Well, let's talk about my non-degree that I don't have.
And all this success.
Yeah, because when you're putting it into a position where you have to figure it out, like then you're gonna do more than the average person would do.
Absolutely.
Trying to figure it out. Because you're not just doing it to get a paycheck. You may wake up 2:00 in the morning and think, oh, I got this.
Yep.
But you wouldn't do that typically if you worked a job.
No.
You'd be like, oh, I'm asleep. I'll figure that out when I get on the job.
Tomorrow at 9.
Right.
Because it's not happening right now.
So this is what I did with you. I went to your page.
Okay.
And I pulled off some statuses because, your statuses are really good. And I want to go down because it's a mixture of everything that we're talking about. It's like a mixture of business, of mental health. It's a mixture of relationships, parenting. So I'm going to take some, I'm going to read them, and we're going to talk about
this is gonna be
these
funny.
statuses. Okay, so let me get one. Let's go here since we already on business. If y'all don't stop paying people to file your EIN.
Oh, please, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Like, seriously. You can literally type in how to file an EIN on Google, and the freaking free website is going to pop up.
Yeah.
If you don't stop... try. Like I think people just don't try. The same way you can get
It's the lack of knowing.
No, it's the lack of wanting to know. It's the lack of
true.
lack of going to pursue the education. That's what pisses me off the most, because the same way you could take yourself on and get on Facebook and make a status to say, "Hey y'all, is it supposed to snow today?" It's the same way your ass can get on Google and search what is the weather for today. Educate yourself.
Yeah.
And people just are not into educating themselves for whatever reason. It's so weird to me.
So I think it's a couple things. So then let me go back to 2008 when I first opened our LLC. When we first started in 2009, we were just a DBA. We didn't have an LLC yet. I had my cousin. And you got to remember, the internet is not what it was.
Oh, no, absolutely
now in
not.
2008. So I get a lawyer who happened to be a family member, my cousin, charged us $1,000 to file the LLC, right? I'm still mad. I'm still mad.
Where the camera at? Give me that money back.
Because once I learned
yeah.
how to, at that point in time, you had to go and get a Michigan, what's it called, electronic sheet, like a Michigan ELF sheet. Now you ain't got to do that, and you can do it. What was it, $50 for the LLC?
Yeah.
You charged me $1,000, bro.
Yeah.
And at that time, you try to find, how do I do my LLC? It wasn't like this straight cut, and you pay for what you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's what people end up doing is like with the EIN. I know somebody who they'll do that for you too, $300, and like you said, it's literally free.
It's free.
It's free to go get your EIN
I have a
number.
friend that does it, and she tells me how much money she makes off of it, and I'm like, they are absolutely insane. There's no way.
Yeah. So I think that too is people would literally come to my website and ask me a question that's literally on the website,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's because the trauma and the stress that we're under and the amount of stimulus, the brain don't work the same.
I feel like even if they would have had it back then, it's still just the lack of self education is a problem.
Yeah.
Because you will sit on Instagram and Facebook and scrolling and capturing and taking all that trauma, and you're not learning, intentionally not learning. It's just you're going to put your energy and your time where you want to put your energy and your time, and they would rather make a status that they know are going to get 20 comments on it, opposed to go just look for the information themselves.
Exactly. A client will become a friend quicker than a friend will become a client.
These are facts.
Yeah.
These are facts. I have made some of the bestest of my friends through work, through me having, through them pursuing me as their life coach or as their, as coming to my studio space or anything like that. I have a client that started out as a client literally, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and she comes to Detroit to visit just to see me. She hangs out. She's been here 3 or 4 times. She's from California. Like Nelly that's like my little sister.
Yeah.
And it literally was because so some people will see that and be like, yeah, because friends and family be hating and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. When I reposted that, I wasn't thinking that. I immediately saw that, yeah, because you might have more in common with that person at that point.
Well, that person is seeking you out for a very specific thing, and then too, they see the value you have and they respect the value that you have.
Yeah.
Typically, when you're growing up with friends and family, that's just Randy.
No, let me tell you how even more annoying it is. That's just little Randy. My dad is Randy.
Okay.
So even the people that are this big.
First of all, you like damn near 6 feet tall, if not.
No,
you ain't
like,
nothing
listen,
little.
I'm legit 5'10", like a solid 5'10". You feel me?
Yeah.
Even the kids in my family, this big, talking about some, Lil Randy, come here. Lil Randy, can you help me with? First of all, y'all got to figure out a different name because y'all literally are 2 and calling me Little Randy. It's not going to work that way. No, we're not doing that.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think people, you can receive it negatively, but most times, I'm going to always be Lil Randy to my aunties. So yeah, how a older woman that might be a client of mine would approach me differently than how my auntie would, you know? And it's okay.
I mean, I've had people come through the door and definitely become my friends, and again, it's just back to that thing. They see you. Yeah, you were one of the first people to come into Inception when we opened up 5 years ago now. So yeah, that I can see why that happens. So.
Yeah, you're on the same wave. That person, might be going through some things that's similar to you at that moment or whatever, and y'all might just identify and click with each other and just might be on a wave, or you might just be attracted to that person's energy. Like, I've always loved your vibe and your energy, and that's a great friendship. Cool, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much where it comes from, because it's idea, because friends and family, those words that they or that's called family, not even friends, because typically friends, that's a choice.
Yeah.
Family is not a choice.
Yeah, no.
That's just blood.
Yeah.
Right? That's just blood. But even like, well, why you don't hang out with your family like that? Well, just because somebody blood don't mean you resonate with them.
Yeah. Like, we might not speak the same frequency, and that's okay.
And just because you're of the same culture. Like,
No.
I've made really good friends with people in other cultures, and we vibe and how we vibe. Now they still have their cultural backgrounds that they go through, but we vibe across that spectrum. So
I can identify with that. I went to a school for high school called Regina, and
you went to Regina?
Yeah, I graduated from Regina.
You played ball at Regina? I think we talked about this
Yeah,
before.
I did.
Because I grew up on the east side. You grew up on the east side, right?
Yep. So I feel like what you said, like having friends outside of your culture and whatnot. Like, I feel like I got a lot of that experience in high school. So I got to skip some steps when it came to, college. Because a lot of times us kids that's from the hood or hood adjacent, we get that culture shock when we go to, the typical college. Because it's like, whoa, wait a minute, where all these white folks come from?
Right.
Who knew? I got that experience in high school. So I think it kind of gave me a little bit more of a head start on viewing how the world was really moving and the crap end of the stick that we were getting overall.
Right.
But I made friends with people in other cultures, still do, for sure. One of my best friends from high school is white. I mean, most of my friends from high school was white.
Yeah, because Regina is pretty
Yeah.
much an all-white girls'
Yeah.
school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting experience.
Oh, very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Y'all really be getting online, posting pics in front of your new house and car. Can't be me.
Yes. No. Corny. Boo. Tomato, tomato, tomato. Keep it.
I took that specifically because being younger, my mom told me, she said, "You're not gonna be living at home with a $50,000 car because you know in Detroit, them houses, those little brick houses we grew up in,
Yeah.
and 1,200 square foot houses, them
Yeah.
houses at that time wasn't even 50,000." And my mom was like, "No,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be doing that."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Let me go back though. In front of your new car. That's another thing too. Why do you want people to see your stuff?
That's so for me, it's beyond wanting them to see your stuff. It's about safety. Like,
Yeah.
why are we so quick to like be like, hey, this gonna be me? Hey, like I think so immediately my mind goes to when I see stuff like that, because I like reposting stuff and I just be thinking about stuff. But when I see stuff like that, I immediately think about my experiences. One time a guy DM'd me, this was probably 3 years ago. He's like, "Yeah, I just saw you in that black Audi," and I was like, "That's deep, bro." Like, I didn't say anything. I'm not gonna say I think. I blocked him immediately. Just because
It
it was.
scared you.
It did. It was weird to me, and it just made me real uncomfortable. So like stuff like that, I was able to purchase my own, like my first vehicle last year. That was a big deal to me.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Like
Yeah.
cashed it out, like,
Yeah.
and that was a big deal to me because usually, it's either my husband paying for something or my dad. Like I was very much so, spoiled growing up. My dad made sure I was good.
But
So-
can we talk about that too as you continue?
Yeah, absolutely.
The word spoiled, because we hear, what
Yeah,
does
we
that
hear-
even mean?
Yeah,
like,
no,
you were
yeah.
just like,
No. Can we please get into that?
Okay,
Seriously.
okay.
I think I'm so distracted at this point. We got to get into it now because
Okay.
you are absolutely right.
because
I
you
get
said
called
you spoiled. I'm like, well, what is spoiled? Because because growing up, I had a car. My parents bought me a car. It wasn't a brand new car.
At
It was
all.
a used car. It was a car I didn't even like, but it was gonna take your ass from point A to point B. But some people would see that as spoiled.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or having a close relationships with your parents as mama's boy or daddy's boy. It's like,
Absolutely.
no, these are healthy.
This is what's supposed to happen.
These are healthy
yeah,
situations.
I'm sorry you didn't
so
get that.
so explain more of
So,
what.
I want to talk about the whole first car thing and not liking
Okay.
it. So my
Okay.
mom cannot hold water. Okay, like
Mhm.
she is always been the person that's telling me my gifts that I'm getting and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So for my birthday, my 16th birthday, I got my first car. It was a Sable.
I remember Sables. Yeah.
we all had the Sables back in the day,
Mhm.
and we all had that particular color Sable too.
With the silver one.
No, that ugly seafoam green,
The green
greenish,
one,
the
yeah,
greenish blue.
yeah.
So I'm at work at Manzella's Fruit Market. My mom calls me and she's like, "Your car here, your car here." I'm like, "Oh my God, really? Yes. It's not green, is it?" She like, "Okay, see you when you get home."
Is it green like your sweater?
No, see, this would have been okay. Olive would have been okay. This
It's
seafoam,
like a pewter.
no, the seafoam green it's more like a blue. It's like a bluish green. Like you would know the color when you saw it. You would. I promise you would, because every Taurus in Sable was this
Yeah,
color. I
yeah.
bull crap you not. It's almost like that ugly green couch color from the 90s. I don't like it. I don't want it. But in regards to the conversation of spoiling your child and things like that, I definitely was always told that I was spoiled growing up because I had healthy relationships with my parents, because I was able to they were able to afford opportunities and send me to private schools. And yeah, when I became of age to drive, I was able to drive any of the 5 cars in my household if I wanted to. That made me spoiled, not blessed. Because to me, that's just a blessing.
Well,
that's a
we
blessing.
grew up in a very similar way. Went to a Catholic school. Went to St. Martin de Porres.
Okay, DePorres.
Can drive any car in the household. That's
Yeah.
just responsibility. My parents wanted one. Those are all rites of passages too.
Yep.
To be able to drive a car, go out here. But again, I used to always kind of almost feel bad for having good parents.
I did too. I felt bad, not necessarily for having good parents, because we all had a good balance, like as far as how my household was ran. Like I was very much so my parents' life coach back in the day. Like I have been this person my entire life, and that I know that That's how I know it got to be a God for real.
Because your gifts is already in you.
They definitely are already in me, and I know for a fact that I picked my parents. I know for a fact,
Same.
like I feel like for a fact that I had to have picked them because I know I would not be this woman that I am today had I experienced half of the things and half of the traumas that I know people that have. You know, like even as far as getting a spanking, my mom and dad never spanked me. My mom smacked me one time, and she I'm sorry, mommy, I shouldn't have even said it. I shouldn't have brought it up, my bad. But she smacked me one time when I was like 14, and I was getting flipped at the mouth. So I understand, like, as an adult, as a parent, I get it. Oh, now I get it, cause, child, that's a whole nother conversation. I understand it though,
Yeah.
but when I think like if I say that to one of my friends, or it just comes to a conversation, I've never had a spanking, they're like, oh my God, that's why you act the way you act, and that's why that's why I'm confident. That's why I feel like we should be able to have a conversation about everyone's point of view and feelings and things like that. Is that why I, am an independent thinker? Is that what you're saying? That's why I act the way I act? Because I feel like a lot of the reason why I'm successful is because of those qualities.
Same. Because now again, my parents were, there's a statement called the good enough parents. My parents, they were the good enough parents. They both came from very dysfunctional environments where alcohol is present in the home. There's a lot of kids in the home. There's drug dealers. There's hitman,
Yep.
and it's, over there on Davidson and
Hey, my
like,
mom and dad are from Davidson too.
like yeah, my mom went to Davidson Middle School.
Okay.
Like my dad, they went to the middle school. They grew up around the block from each other, but it
What
was
street?
Orleans and Lumpkin.
Okay, we grew up on Mitchell.
Okay.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Yep. So my parents grew up in that environment. So leaving from that environment, and I said this the other day when we were on this panel that they grew up in an environment and they had an awareness at a young age, like this shit is like not legit.
Right.
Like this ain't.
This not what I want.
No, like
Yep.
y'all crazy. So growing up, they get out of that environment, but even though they have that consciousness and being in an environment, they're still getting the residual trauma and stress from being in the environment. So they have to get out of that, go and start to learn. Like my mom, I asked her, she said, before I had you guys, I had an intention of how I want to parent. And now people starting calling this conscious parenting. But it's just like but we're reactive. Our culture is very active when we have kids. Oh, I got a kid.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah. See, my parents weren't like that. My parents got like that, especially with my brother. My brother is 7 years older than me. My mom and dad had him when they were 19. I got a very different version of my parents. So my parents
Because they've
were
been
like,
through him already 7 years.
Exactly. So they were still very much so in the hood for even my first 4 or 5 years of life. We were still like in the heat of we're in this, But I think that they saw that they wanted certain changes, and so they took the opportunity and made those changes. Was that looks like making sure I was occupied and I wasn't just hanging out in my neighborhood and things like that. So yeah, I was in Girl Scouts until I was 16. I was in every sport every season, so I was always busy. My mom, looking back, my mom literally gave up her everything to make sure that I am the woman that I am right now. My mom didn't take girl trips and trips out of town and stuff like that. My mom was like, nope, I'm gonna have my daughter. I'm gonna be with my daughter. We can go out with the Girl Scouts or we can go out to dinner ourselves. Like, I became her little bestie.
Yeah.
And obviously through adulthood is still that. It's really dope to me. But I definitely think that I would not even have the certain thinking, like the way I think and the way I process things is a lot like my dad. I wouldn't have that if it wasn't for them. And I feel bad for people that don't have that, like someone that they can genuinely identify with.
That's why I end up mentoring a lot of people. Because it's not because I just feel bad. It's just, one, it's a part of me. Like, I'm always like, if I can go learn something tomorrow, I'm going to teach you it. That's just a natural. That goes back down to, I know that's just a gift. And I can't not withhold that information.
Yep.
Like, I'm not just going to do that. You know what I'm saying? I gotta share.
Yeah.
Especially
if it's information that's like going to better you. Like if it's information that's like going to make you a better person, I want to share it with you. And I'm excited to share it with you.
That's all Inception is.
Yeah.
It's a place to better yourself. And it's like, ooh, I'm excited about it. You get to be better. And then I get to this place where people, I'm like, you don't want to be better? Like what? Like what's wrong with that picture?
That's the part that's hard. When you realize, like, it could be like your best friend or your favorite cousin. And it's like, oh, I'm offering all these out so you cannot be the person that you're forcing yourself to be right now. but you don't want to be that. You want to be stuck in the stuff that you're in.
Mm.
Okay, cool. And for me, that's been my disconnect lately when it comes to mentoring and coaching. It's like if I help you with with solutions and working through things and whatnot, and it's still giving me the excuses and the oh no with this, but oh no but that. I just value my time too much. I can't do it.
I think that's what I've been on your page, and more recently, I've been seeing more of that from you. Is just this desire to accountability,
Yeah.
and
Oh yes.
and that for we can start to shift out of, because we've seen it with. See, when a certain person comes in our culture, or let's say they're Republican, and they say, "Oh, you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps," that's automatically a trigger for us to say, "Ah, no, what do you mean? I need help." But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when you really sit down and you look at it on paper, it's like nobody's coming to save you,
At all. Never.
and it don't matter whether you were victimized or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can empathize that you were victimized,
Yeah.
and all of our people who grew up in very harsh conditions, like, yeah, it sucks, man. But then after the sucking, what you gotta do?
Right. You got to heal from it, and you got to figure out what's next. And that's the part that's it's uncomfortable to talk about, but that's one of the most important parts, because you're going to figure out what's next, and that's part of your healing journey. And if you don't figure out what's next, you get stuck on where you're at.
Yeah.
And that's the part that's really been bugging me lately. Like, as a mother, as a friend, just as a business owner, as whatever title, I'm just sick of seeing people just make excuses on why they're at where they're at and why they're not where they want to be.
And that's the programming.
Yeah.
That's why I always call it the matrix. That's the hard part.
Yeah, and that's the
coming
part,
to terms.
and that's the part that's right. I'm at right now, where it's a level of separation with me and some people that's been in my life for a long time, regularly, because I can't handle the energy. I'm at a place where I have not felt this good in freaking 10 years. 10 years. I've worked very hard to feel this good. The peace, the purpose, just feeling grounded. Like, I feel great. And I can't give my energy or take on energy that's not on that frequency.
And that feels very similar to me.
Yeah.
15 years. When I was 2006, 7, I was dealing with anxiety and panic attacks and depression. Like, it took me 15 years to feel as good as I feel right now.
Now, if we wanted to even go back deeper than that, I'm certain, honestly, I've never felt this good. If we're being honest.
In your whole life?
In my whole life. It's been trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma. 5 years old, my dad got shot 9 times on birthday. Had to get uprooted from being the family that had the money in the hood with the full court basketball in the backyard and all that, to having to basically be in hiding because you don't know if people are coming to attack your family. And then after my dad gets out of the hospital and we're living our lives on a different part of the east side, way deeper east at this point, off East Warren, and University, like, that's a different lifestyle change. Our whole family lived on that one street, Mitchell. My mama, obviously our household, my dad's sisters, my grandmother, like, that was our neighborhood.
Right.
So then then growing up, my dad teaching me, oh, make sure you're looking in your rearview mirrors. Make sure you're not taking the same routes home. It's just regular trauma on trauma on trauma, on top of being in the hood, on top of, going to the different schools. So when I go back to the hood, I go to a different school. So now they looking at me like I'm different, like I'm weird because I got this uniform on. And they like, oh, you think you better than us because you got to wear that uniform. Then I got to go to this. So that's just the trauma on trauma on trauma. Then it's the, I go to this school now for high school, and I'm a minority.
Yeah.
I'm a minority.
Yeah.
Y'all even hoop different. Like, y'all play y'all
they organize.
Yeah, like y'all, like, I hoop, but y'all hoop like y'all ballet dancing or something. Like, y'all just it's different.
You know when I noticed that too? It's funny you say that. Growing up on the east side, and I went to the Y for the first time. That's in Royal Oak, the YMCA. And we thought, oh, this is nice, it's cool. I think I'm 16. My cousin moves out to Southfield, and we decided to go to the YMCA, but we're going to go to the one in Farmington Hills in Orchard Lake. First time out there. And again, we from the hood. We can ball.
Right.
Got our asses kicked because them white boys was coming with fundamental just...
Oh, yeah, what?
Like,
they know their angles that their shoulder needs to be at.
They setting screens, and me and my homies, we ISO ball the whole time. But that made me think at that time the access they had to certain things that
It's
that we
different.
didn't have.
Yeah, and that for me was, especially now as a grown up, as a parent, especially seeing how things work. I know the sacrifice my parents took sending me to Catholic school, especially sending me to Regina. My daddy
Mm-hmm.
could have had an Escalade, or mama could have had whatever car she wanted to at the time. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Um, the getting access to that definitely changed the trajectory of my life, for sure.
Mm.
Could I have been still successful going to CT or Rennie or anything like that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But would I be this woman? Absolutely not.
I couldn't get into CAS. I wasn't smart enough.
My mom and dad wouldn't even let me do the DPS test. They're like, yeah,
No.
it's not happening.
No.
I got into Trinity, though, and Trinity actually offered me a partial scholarship. And my dad was like, yeah, no, we're not doing it. We're going to go to Regina.
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
even know what being the minority was at the time. My older cousin, so
that's a big
basically,
shock, though. Go from
So-
to Regina.
I grew up with the same core group of friends. We all went to the same middle school, the same high school, and then after high school, it was like, yeah, I don't really like you bitches. Bye. Sorry, but it was the truth. Like it was just, it wasn't friendship. It was we were kind of all forced to be together because of our parents, for real. But my cousin was a part of that group, and she went to Regina. So my cousin would always, she's 2 years older than me, and I always want to do my cousin. My cousin Amber is just like, you always like, yo, you got one big cousin you just love, right? And I always loved, Amber was my biggest influence. That was like my big sister growing up. So she used to come home complaining about Regina every day. She hated it. I hate being the minority, and I don't like this, and I don't like that, and da 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 da. I didn't even know what being the minority was at that time. But I would go home to my mom and dad like, I don't want to be the minority. I don't want to go to Regina.
Because you was listening to your cousin.
Yeah, I listened to my cousin. But looking back, like Regina was one of the best experiences of my life, for real. For sure.
Yeah. My parents sent me to DePores mainly, too, because safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Young,
man.
you got to think, young black man at that time, I'm 98 graduating. I mean, we still upon that time when people, I'm hearing a statement around, will I live to be 23?
Yeah.
That was
that was
the feeling at that time being a young black man. So like I didn't start to really understand it until now. But then thinking about a lot of our moves that we do as a culture, like it's all surrounding safety.
Yeah.
Like we don't feel safe. So when we talk about mental health and trauma, that's all it is you don't feel safe. And it sounds like too, you said you were coaching your mom and your dad being young. It sounded like you had a safe place to voice
Yeah.
and to speak.
Always.
And that's why you
Always.
that's why you are who you are.
What?
Like
Absolutely.
Like you be on stage, you say whatever the fuck
I
you
say
want to say.
whatever the fuck I want to say, because who gonna stop me? And what you gonna do about it? You can't.
Yeah.
Number one, is a few things you can't ever do. Number one, you can never whip my ass. Be clear. I am from the east side of Detroit, and at this point, I'm 32 years old. I don't fight, I shoot. So good luck.
So that type of can-do spirit, and we look to people like the Charlemagnes,
Yeah.
even Trump,
Yeah.
or Charles Barkley. You're one of those type of figures where you're gonna say what you feel, and you're gonna apologize too if you do wrong.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you're gonna hold yourself accountable
Yeah.
to things. You're not gonna you're not trying to speak to hurt people.
Never. My intentions is I have never
Right.
been intentional. I take that back. As an adult, and this version of myself,
Yeah,
I have,
right. I'm
I
slowing
have
right now.
never, I have never been intentionally hurtful. It's never been my intentions to harm someone. Like never. No, that's never it.
Yeah.
No.
So I got this one right here that's pretty good. I let sex turn me into a father before love turned me into a husband. Now I'm correcting my wrongs to be a better man and a father. This is something you shared, and I wanted to talk about that too, because that was because I hear you talk a lot of family dynamics now,
Yeah.
because if you got you got married a couple
Yeah.
years ago. And I remember your situation before, because
Yeah.
you were married before, right? Or you were engaged?
I was engaged.
You're engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, what do you think about that statement?
I think that happens to a lot of people. I think that, in fact, this has been a conversation across my platform for a couple of days now, because I feel like we have to start being open and honest about the fact that we're dealing with people that we don't know. And it's happening so fast.
You're talking about in relationships.
Yes.
Let's really go into this, because this
Yes,
is a good
because
one.
you're dealing with people that you don't know. It's happening fast, and a lot of it is because of social media. You're able to hop in someone's DM, they can message you right back, and then they can look at they have every opportunity to become the person that you want them to be if they just do the research on your page real quick. So they then give you that representative for let's say 2 weeks, but you've already slept with them because that's just the man of your dreams, and Disney showed you that your Prince Charming was coming someday. Beautiful. But then 2 months later, you realize that he's a whole POS. He talks to his mom like crap. He hasn't seen his kids in 3 years. He doesn't work for real. He wants to drive your car all day while you're at work and don't even put gas back in it. But that's because you did not do your research. You were too busy falling for the representative, and you were too busy believing what you wanted to believe opposed to doing the research and getting to know that person. That's not just for relationships. That's for friendships too. And professional relationships. Friendships too. People are liking pictures. Oh, you're cute. Oh, you're cute. Let's hang out. Dummy. That's not how friendships are built. Who she vote for? What's her morals like? How's she healing from her childhood traumas? How her mom and them doing? You know her mom and them, how she talk to her? Oh, she don't talk to her whole family? She don't talk to her whole family, but you think she's going to be a good friend to you? Ooh, baby, okay. All right.
We're very similar. People get mad at me for being like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, you ain't even put your foot in the water, your toe. You just cannonballed. And now that you're in there with sharks, now you asking for life support.
Yeah.
But you never looked at the water first. People, we got in a relationship. We know each other for 6 weeks. Now we moving in. Good luck.
6 weeks?
Or even 6 months.
Y'all ain't even made it through 6 weeks. You ain't even made it you ain't made it through 2 period cycles. You don't know her for real.
2 period cycles.
You don't know her for real.
No.
She go crazy on her period.
So the knowing that I've gotten to want to know, it's the knowing, not just like, oh, your favorite team and your favorite color and where you went to school. That knowing is very surface. The knowing is I can look at your face and see the tension in your face because of something I said. I can tell that something triggered you. I can feel you. We're not even in the same room. I can feel you over there and what's going on with you because I've taken the time to really, to know myself first. That's first. So I'm a dancer. I dance salsa, and you have to lead. You have to lead the woman, or now people lead
your partner.
Right?
You.
Right.
I got you.
Right.
I got your back. We're gonna stay politically correct.
I gotta lead. So in the leading, I learned that in dancing, when I didn't know how to dance myself, it made it much more difficult to lead the woman. So once I got to like really and understanding who was leading me, you know what leads me in the dance?
What?
The music.
The music, yeah.
That's God in a relationship.
Yeah.
It's the music. I'm just flowing with that energy, right? But in order to be able to lead you, I gotta get very in tune with me and my steps. And once I start getting it more and more, now when I pick up somebody, I can, see what their ability is. See, we get in relationships, you don't even know that person's ability.
At all.
What they can and cannot do, and now you're mad because they're not doing something that you want them to do, but you don't realize they don't even have the ability to do it in the first place. But that takes time. That takes
you getting to know somebody, something you cannot do within 6 weeks. Y'all can text back and forth all day.
And texting really is not a way to learn somebody.
Yeah, listen, David hates to text. Don't text David, okay? Just send him a voice memo or call him.
No, I'm just saying, like, anything emotional, anything that's emotionally charged, don't text me.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk.
Yeah.
Anything that can be misconstrued. Like, I don't want blocks.
I don't want that because listen, all of my friends know, don't send me a text message that's like longer than 2 sentences. Because at this point, you knew it was a longer conversation. You knew you should have called me. I don't believe in those. I don't believe in long text messages or long comments. I'll tell anybody on social media, if you leave a long comment, I'm not reading that.
Yeah. Yeah, I had somebody send me something. I said, no, I'm not reading that. She's like, oh, I said, call me.
Yeah.
Call me when you're ready. And then they didn't call me. Because this day, do you find too, let me ask you, do you find that it's a great way for people to hide how they really feel?
Yeah, they mask their emotions, they mask their everything because they can just put it in, they can just type it real quick. No. Come be emotional to my face. You can't because you're scared to be that vulnerable. You're not scared to be that vulnerable on my phone with your bossy ass. No, be that vulnerable. And not even just aggression. Even if you're expressing that you're, uncomfortable with something or you don't like something, come be that emotional in my face.
It's
so I
gonna be,
can feel
but
it.
it's gonna be better for me. Yeah, right.
is.
So, because
So
then
I
I
can
can
feel
feel
it.
how that hurt you,
Yes.
and I know like that I'm
My
my bad. You
I
know,
messed up.
right?
You know?
Versus
I mean,
just like
jinx, but yeah.
Yeah.
Jinx, but for
jinx.
sure.
Damn,
Yeah.
I ain't heard that in a
Yeah.
minute. Knock
Oh,
on
yeah.
some
What?
wood.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
my kids jinx me. They would jinx me and each other all day. Jinx, ABC Lot can't talk. Boom.
So you got remarried, and a lot of these principles we're talking about, you obviously they're in your marriage.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. A lot of just things that I learned throughout life and things that he's learned throughout life. We both, you know, I guess apply it now, but a lot of it too is just growth together. Like Jeff has known me since I was 18.
Mm.
So he knows the different phases. He knows and he knows me in different, aspects. He's been my boyfriend, he's been my friend, he's been my business partner, he's been a client, he's been obviously my fiance, my husband, my baby daddy, not all that goodness. But yeah, we I think that we just kind of apply both of our lessons and what we've been through in our growth to where we're at now,
Yeah.
for sure.
So then by that time you get married, it's like you already he's been through all the seasons, and that's what my
Yeah.
mom said. She said, you talking to somebody, you got to at least see him through all the seasons. And she
Absolutely.
really means the real seasons of the weather, because
Yeah.
people things change. We
Yeah.
change internally,
Yeah,
hormonally.
see how they handle that depression in the
in
winter
the winter,
time.
right?
Because that might, and that's not me, that's not a shot at depression, because honestly, I think we all on the depressed spectrum somewhere. But in real life, how you handle depression might not be on the same frequency on what I can handle in my life.
Yeah.
Because you might go complete cold and turned down and turned off. And somebody
Or-
like me can't do that.
Or how the summer come on and the pumps and the bump season, and you
yeah,
MC
what?
Hammer
And
and
now
you
you
in the
trying to be-
G-string and you trying to
yeah,
get on,
yeah.
it's like, oh, that.
Oh,
you
that's
know,
what it is.
So you got me in cuffing season and it's
Yeah,
cold, and then it's
yeah.
easy to be with one person then, but now all the sundresses came out and it's like you looking. And
Yep.
So let's see how your ability to make a commitment. It's almost like marriage is under attack too. Marriage and no, it's not that it seems it. It is.
Absolutely.
You've heard-
Marriage is under attack. Having a job is under attack. Any type of
Being a man, being a
Yeah.
woman,
Oh, yeah. Everything.
being a masculine man, being a feminine woman,
Yeah.
being a feminine
Yeah.
man, being
Yeah.
a you know what I'm saying?
Being a
Like,
masculine woman.
yeah,
Apparently, I'm
like,
a masculine woman, or whatever the hell that
all
means.
that is under attack. But
yeah.
so okay, you said you're a masculine woman, but how
Yeah.
are you with Jeff?
I'm a snuggle bunny.
I figured that's how you're gonna go. You
Yeah.
soften down, right?
I don't feel like I'm masculine. I just feel like I don't take no crap. And by not taking no crap, it's just that's how like the word assertive. People say that word and they use it like it's a bad thing. If I'm telling you, hey David, nope, I can't do that next week, maybe the week after. That's me being assertive. And there's nothing wrong
That's
with that.
being assertive.
That's to me that
I can't do it this week. Do it
that's-
next week.
Or if I was just like, can't do that right now, maybe next time. People will take that as, oh, that's it. Like, oh, she's kind of being direct is an issue.
Well,
When
see,
you're
I'm direct,
yeah,
so
when you're, and I'm sure that you've been judged for being direct. When you're direct, it's, oh, you're rude, or you're kind of bitchy, or you're this and this. It's like, no, I'm not rude. I'm literally just not giving you the fluff.
I'm gonna cut straight to
Yeah.
to what the point is.
You don't need to see my whole house. Let me take you to the bathroom. You said you had to pee. Come on.
Or let's say this. I'm late. I'm not gonna go through this whole thing. I'm late because blah 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 blah. Like
Yeah.
oversharing,
Yeah.
over like that. Like just come.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
tell me what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that happens with us because childhood we felt like we gotta.
We had to give that explanation. And really,
Yeah.
kind of make sure we don't do something to get snatched up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that
Safety, back to safety again. All this stuff goes back to that mom
Yeah.
and dad childhood.
Yeah,
And you start to see.
y'all be messing y'all kids up. Stop whipping them kids, y'all.
Stop whooping them and then stop thinking they're to be seen and not heard.
Yeah, and stop acting like they're not a whole human being. That's a whole human being with the whole emotions and legit feels. And it's frustrating. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Conscious parenting is not easy. Sometimes it's easy, but like the moments where it's not easy, it's not easy. Like, my daughter is 8 and she is sassy. Like, she is sassy AF, okay? When she want to be. Or she just sometimes forget that she's a kid and jump in the conversation on some adult stuff. And it's like, okay, wait a minute now. I don't mind y'all joining the conversations if we talking about stuff. But you still got to watch how you say what you be saying, because you be talking like you my friend and you ain't my friend, little girl.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
but that's cool because now here's the boundary.
yeah,
You crossing over like we cool, but we ain't cool.
Yeah, we cool, but we ain't
I'm your
that
mama.
cool. Wait a couple more years for that, cause no.
I am coming to a point in my life now where my parents are like some of my best friends.
My
you know,
parents-
but it's still
yeah.
that's still such a respect for my mom and my dad. But here it is, the respect goes both ways.
Yeah.
My mom don't ask me for money. My dad don't ask me for money.
Uh-huh.
They don't ask me what you doing, where you at, who you with. My mom, we used to stay in the same building. I lived on the first floor. She lived on the third floor. She never just knocked
Popped
on my
up.
door.
Yeah.
It was just respect. I had key to her apartment. I never just open the door. I would call her, Mom, you is it okay if I come up? Yeah, sure. Because
Yeah.
it's just like that's just respect of boundaries. Because I don't know what she doing. She don't know who I got in my place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What I got going on.
Right.
I don't know what she got going on. I'm gonna respect that. You know, I know some people feel like, well, we close and we can, and that's cool.
No, it's not cool.
That's
though, 'cause
cool
those
if
are the-
you feel that
because those
way.
are the same people that never respect your boundaries. The
Yeah.
ones when you're making the boundaries and asserting and putting them in place. The ones that feel like, oh, but we so cool, are usually the ones that's like, no, but I don't want to stick to your boundary. Why? I'm telling you that this is what I don't want, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Any friendship that I've ever lost has always been because it's been a lack of boundary or there's somebody
Yes.
crossing a boundary, and I'm saying, okay, like this is not cool.
I can definitely agree with that.
And it's not just one time either.
Yeah.
It's a consistent, and it's just like, okay, I gave you enough rope
Yeah.
to hang yourself.
Yep.
To,
So bye.
to I don't even have to. It's like you know when people get to a place where they know they really messed up and they just really kind of leave on their own, don't
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Oh yeah, because the energy shifts.
they? Mm-hmm.
But as far as one thing that I think that we don't do as a community is we don't teach our kids about boundaries and things like that. I'm very intentional about that. Like my daughter Sophia, she might, let's say, and it could be my oldest Dominic too. Let's say one of them is bothering the baby Chandler, and he's fussing, or even let's say Dominic is bothering Sophia, and she's like, I said I don't want you touching me, or she does this. I'll tell him like, hey, respect her boundaries. She says she doesn't want you touching her right now, and he'll take his hands away like, you're right. And it's just very intentional. And I'll do the same thing with Sophia. And I know that they won't necessarily always get it right now, but that's something that I'm planting that they're going to use and remember throughout their life, though.
No,
Respect my boundary.
My mom and dad have taught that, and it's visual too.
Yeah.
It's a visual boundaries. Like too. Even if, let's say, Jeff does something nice for you, thank you. I appreciate you for doing that. It's like the acknowledgement to say, just because we married don't mean I'm entitled for you to do something for me,
Right.
or vice
Absolutely.
versa, right? Like
Absolutely.
it's like it's kind of like you get together and you come whole.
Yeah.
You don't come half.
I literally just had this conversation on Instagram Live yesterday.
And then as you're whole, what you provide to Jeff, what he provides to you, it's called extra.
Yeah.
It ain't
Yeah.
your foundation
Yeah,
of,
no.
I need somebody to make me whole. No, you're gonna be waiting forever.
Yeah.
You make you
Or
whole.
you're going to just keep on going through trauma relationships because you're too busy trying to take from what that person genuinely has to complete yourself. And that's a needy, greedy spirit.
Having a child by a female that actually cares about being a mother is a blessing.
It is.
Where are we at when it's time when we have to make statements like that?
We're at a place in time where a lot of people just are not being held accountable. I think that your hormones, you as a person completely change when you have a baby. I will give women that. Like I definitely am cutting a lot of peace with that because that's something I never did before because I didn't understand that until I became a mom. Your hormones go crazy. They do. Your life goes crazy for a second because when you give birth to two people, a new baby and a new version of yourself. You never go back to being that old version of yourself for real. At least I didn't, and most moms that I know did not. I just think that a lot of the conversations that come up in the community is always bashing the fathers. Always, oh, well, dads need to do this or dads need to do that or, dads need to be better this and he get to do what he want to do and all that, which is true in a lot of instances, for sure. However, what about the moms that are traumatizing their children? What about the moms that are not intentionally trying to make peace in their lives so they know that trauma is pouring over into their children? What about the moms that cuss out their kids and call their kids names? What about the moms that have abandoned kids too with their fathers? For example, it was a post that went viral, and I posted it yesterday, and it was a text message from between co-parents, and the girl said, "Come get your baby. I'm having a hard time. I'm damn near ready to kill him."
I saw that.
This was at 2:30 in the morning. She texted him. No, she said, "I'm gonna kill myself." And then at 10:30 in the morning, she said, "He gonna mess around and be dead." And the dude texted the mom back like, "Who gonna be dead?" And she said, "You ain't stupid." And I find fault on both ends. The father is wrong for multiple reasons. Number one, that's not the first time she's expressed she needed help. And the fact that you had the time to take this private message of someone being vulnerable and post it to social media.
Oh, that person that
Yeah.
person posted that. Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know that
Yeah,
that
yeah,
person,
he
the guy posted that.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, he posted with a long.
But he didn't call her.
I don't know. See, I don't know I don't know these people personally. But the conversation immediately went to how the dad was trash and nothing about the mom. Yeah, the dad was super trash for that. But we still gonna break down the fact that this girl just said that she wanted to kill her baby. Yes, could that be postpartum depression? Very much so. But we also got to know how old this baby is, because I'm calling the child a baby, but I don't know how old this child is. This child could be a 15-year-old working her goddamn nerves, because that happens. This child could be 3 or 4. She could have anxiety and depression outside of whatever. But we still have to acknowledge the fact that she's not coping with whatever it is that she's going through in a healthy way. And she has to find a healthy way to heal from what she's going through. And the conversation then turned to, well, maybe she grew up, in a low economical space, and this is how she knows how to communicate, and da-da-da-da. Well, if we go that deep into giving scenarios to it, maybe the same for him. Maybe he wasn't taught to care about people's emotions.
Well, let's think about it. They're both together.
Exactly.
Rich people don't hang with poor people.
Not often.
Not ever.
Unless they're tricking.
I'm talking. That was talking about like homeless people.
You ain't seen Pretty Woman.
Man, you just made me go down like, damn, a lot of these chicks really like they tricking like they, So yeah, okay, but to your point, like your level of consciousness is going to attract your partner.
Bingo.
Period.
Bingo.
So, or your level of healing too is going to attract that partner. And oftentimes you'll find someone. Why did they attract that person? Why? That's because they codependent to them. The greater one has to get the lesser one, if we're gonna call it that, and try to lift that person up, and then that person just keeps doing all the wrong. But no, I just need to love you better. And I need you to acknowledge me and accept me, and it's like that's a nasty cycle that people get caught in from it.
Regularly.
Yeah,
and it sucks, and that's really why I've been on my healing kick, talking about it publicly, because we can't just keep on pointing the finger at the opposite sex. Oh, men suck, women suck. Oh, women talk about how they feel, but what about how guys feel? We can't. We are dogs chasing our tails at this point. I literally started my video out saying that both parents was wrong in the situation. The moment that that woman sent that message to that guy saying that she was wanting to harm herself, he should have responded and came and got that child. Even with me saying that, it was problematic to the women in my comments, because you don't know what she been through. You don't know what she going through. You don't know. I don't. You're right. But if you listen to the whole video, I'm going to explain how I don't know that, and how, postpartum depression is real and all that. But you're so quick to try to defend someone's bullshit because you've been on that same bullshit before.
Well, it's their projection. That's really how they feel about their situation.
Bingo.
And the whole, I love Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. All of my listeners know that. Seek first to understand them to be understood. What are the real facts? Like we got out. We in a really dangerous time where facts start to be like,
it's a blurred line.
Whether it's like somebody's emotions trumps facts.
Absolutely.
Like your emotions are valid.
Absolutely.
But your emotions don't.
We live in a time where your emotions absolutely will trump facts if you deliver it the right way. Absolutely.
And that's where we get that. You ever seen that movie on Netflix called Don't Look Up?
Yeah.
That's where we at. It's like my emotions, if I can get emotional enough, that will stop the law of gravity.
Yeah.
Like, what goes up comes down. No, it's not. That's not what it is.
And it's like you're lying to yourself, bro. Like, you completely lying. But people are willfully lying to themselves and believing it. Like I used to say something when I was a teenager, and it's kind of a crappy statement, but I still feel it a little bit. It's okay to lie to anybody else in this world, but the moment you start lying to yourself and you believe it, that's where you start fucking up.
Yeah. That we call that don't believe your own hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The moment you start believing that you really are what the lies you're telling, that's the moment you're starting to go crazy.
I've met people like that.
Oh, me too.
And I've disassociated myself with people like that because and I see that the people who follow them is one person telling them everything how great they are.
Yeah.
Oh, you're amazing, you're great. And I'm not that person.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you how great you are, but I'm also gonna tell you, yo, this is what you're doing over here. Like, what is this about?
We can do better in this area.
Yeah, like, and it's not just from let me just criticize you.
Yeah.
It's a loving, like, are you aware that this is happening and
Yeah,
this is stopping you from
be
reaching your
genuine
purpose
and getting to that next level.
Yeah.
Let's really get into that. Yeah, no, for real. People they don't want that though. They would rather have the people that's the yes men and whatnot. And in my experience, a lot of influencers that I've come across is like that, where it's you're one thing online, but you're another thing in person.
yeah,
That's
for
crazy to me. Like that's insane to
Oh,
me.
I know some doing $1 million scams too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. It's not crazy. We've known people to do that offline. Now
Yeah.
online,
That's the part that's
has
scary
taken
though.
you to a whole nother level.
The part that scares me the most is you literally can get online and pretend to be. If I change my name right now to Dr. Randi Rossario, y'all gonna say congratulations, sis. I ain't got to show no
Right.
degree. I ain't got to do nothing. I can tell y'all I graduated and this is what it is. This is who I am now, and y'all gonna say congratulations.
I follow a lot of our Black pages, and I followed the strategy that most people started. That's how I went viral in the beginning, because I followed the strategy. I put a title at the top, Mother and Son makes first mental health gym. Now, me, I'm a person of character. I'm not going to be lying about stuff that ain't real. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they hit me up in the inbox, like, hey, get this press, and you can be in Forbes, and you can be in this. And I'm like, yo, if y'all don't want to come and let me in based on my credentials and what I've done, then I don't deserve it. I don't want to pay to be on the Fortune 500. I don't want to pay to be the New York Times, because you can pay to be on all these and people don't know it. It's just
everything. Let's get.
It's the way to try to build social proof for people to. So back to the thing, I made that post, Mother and Son makes first mental health gym, put it on all these Black pages, went viral, and then I started seeing over time, more people follow that strategy, right? And then I'm starting to read some of the stuff like, this person's a multimillionaire and this person's a multimillionaire. And I'm just like, if you go look at their books, Randy, they're not multimillionaires.
Yeah.
You know that's not true. We talking about people who now we don't even know that we can go do our LLC and get our EIN. Now you're doing that because that's what people use to try to get social proof out of people. And I think and even I can't stand people who sell stuff on how to do stuff in terms of marketing or making money.
Because everything's going to be different. And that's why I've always kind of ran into like a brick wall when it came to, like, I do classes like how to develop apps and how to do vision boards or how to write a book and things like that. But I even run into brick walls with that because every book is different. Every app is different. So it's like, I be feeling like I want to have a one-on-one session with everybody that even still book the classes, because it's like, okay, well, let's still, cause I think that's something we probably have in common. One, this the need to help people, the want to help people. Yeah. Because I still am like, okay, yeah, you took this class, but let me see what you did from what you learned in the class, so I can just kind of help and fix it up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, let's leave with this last question. This last one really kind of goes into the conversation we've been having about, we got to relationships. Me and you need to do another one fully on relationships.
We can.
So a lot of people are bitter and scorned because they allowed the wrong person that they knew was the wrong person around them into their energy, into their spirit. You laid up with someone that you knew was a liar and cheater, and that wasn't the devil. That was your free will making bad decisions. That's why I say we're similar.
Yeah. Because we literally, I can walk out of here and bump my leg on the door, and somebody be like, oh, that devil be busy. No, I was not paying attention to what I was doing.
Yes.
No, the devil is not busy because your DTE got cut off. You just didn't pay your bill.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't busy working.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't busy calling to make a payment schedule. So yeah, the energy, it's the funniest meme I ever saw. It's the devil surfing. And it's like the devil busy, and it's like the devil saying, he's like, no, I'm on vacation. That's all you, chimp.
Right.
He's like surfing, like he looks like he's having a ball. He's chilling. We just goes back to the lack of accountability.
Mm-hmm.
You would rather blame someone that doesn't even freaking exist for real. Is the energy that exists. That's not even a physical person. You would rather blame him for your actions when in reality it's you doing it.
Yeah.
Take some accountability for it.
Yeah. It really, this whole episode is really about looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
And then what you see when you look in the mirror, don't not look at it. Look at it fully.
Yeah.
And be okay why it is the way it is.
And what you don't like, and that could be your energy, your spirit. Hell, it might be your nose. If you want to get a nose job, do your thing. But what you don't like, fix it.
Mm.
Like if you're looking at yourself and you say, you wish that you were more confident, or you wish that, whatever. If you need to build on your confidence, then start researching how you can do that. Or start doing things that make you feel confident. If painting makes you feel confident, go paint me something.
Mm.
If writing a song makes you feel confident, go write you some songs. Do what you need to do to feed your spirit. That's where people are lacking. Just do what you need to do to make sure you're okay.
Yes. Do what you need to do to make sure you're okay. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself on a day-to-day basis. Don't let somebody else come have more awareness of you than you have of you.
Exactly.
You should know all of your issues. I'm not saying that it's not perfect, but you should be seeking those things, because those things, when you start to observe those things, that's when you can begin to change those things.
Yep.
Until next time, guys.
La la la.
You've been listening to the Inner Wealth Podcast on EYL.
Get out the matrix and live.
Theme song produced by Be Ready for West Coast Creations. I am Razcast, reminding you to take action, be proactive, be congruent, get out of the matrix, get your mind right. We've automated mental health at inception. Join the movement.
La la la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La la la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.
La la la.
Inner Wealth Podcast.